I woke up at the sight of my 2-year-old son tapping away on my cell phone. I put out my hand, and after a couple of whines and tears, he handed the phone back to me. I checked my phone to make sure he didn't make any phone calls or texts. After checking everything on my phone, I didn't find any new calls or texts, but I did see an app called Life is Beta on my home screen now. The icon was just a circle inside a solid blue square. I put my phone in my pocket and got ready for work. After I ate my breakfast, I kissed my wife and son goodbye and walked to the subway station. The ride to work usually takes around 40 minutes, so I turned my phone on and clicked on the app. The first thing that threw me off was the fact that there wasn't a loading screen or anything. It just automatically jumped to a character floating in the middle of the screen. The next weird thing was the character looked just like me in every single way. Even the face was exactly like mine, down to the 2 pimples I found on my forehead this morning. Feeling a bit curious, I tapped on the screen, and he started to walk toward the right. The screen turned black for a second, and when it bounced to the next screen, I almost dropped my phone. He was sitting in a subway while playing on his cell phone. After a couple of seconds, the subway and the phone stops, and a couple of people got off and onto the subway. Right as a lady in a yellow coat starts to get on the subway, my character starts to flash, and the scene freezes. I tap on the character, and he gets up and bolts out of the subway. I try to tap the outside of the subway, but the screen keeps showing the subway. The lady that boarded the subway started to pace around the subway, but no one really gave her notice. After she walked around 3 times, she started to shake and took out 2 guns from her purse. The subway is filled with blood and people running around as she empties out both magazines. Once she ran out of bullets, she took a knife out of her purse and stabbed herself in the chest. The screen on my phone went dark, and I felt the subway come to a stop. I looked up and saw a woman in a yellow coat boarding the subway. Without a second thought, I ran out of the subway and caught a cab. The whole cab ride there, I kept searching the news to see if there weren't any recent shootings in my area. But after a while, I started to relax, and by the time I got to work, I was laughing to myself about how dumb I was listening to a dumb game. Right as I sat down in my office chair, I got a phone call from my wife. When I picked up the phone, I heard my wife say, Please, just answer the phone." I said, "Hello?" I could hear her breathe a sigh of relief. She told me she was watching the news when she heard about a lady shooting up the subway I usually rode to work. Right as she told me everything that happened, I couldn't really respond. I felt my hand start to shake and my throat felt like it was closing up. I told her I loved her and that I would call her back later and hung up the phone. I turned the app again and saw that my character was floating in the middle of the screen. I kept tapping at him, but the screen wouldn't change. I clicked the home button to my phone and tried deleting the app, but my phone didn't give an option to delete the app. Frustrated and scared shitless, I just shoved my phone back into my pocket and tried to forget about what happened this morning. I didn't check the app again until around 2 p.m. I felt my phone vibrating, so I checked it and saw a notification from Life is Beta. It said, "New experience" next to the logo. I didn't want to, but I clicked on the box in case it was trying to warn me again. When I opened up the app, I saw an animated version of my manager typing on his laptop. The view shifted to where I was looking at my manager's laptop. On his screen was a lady holding up a man by his hair. I could see what my manager was typing out. "Use your fingers to dig his eyeballs out." The The woman held up 3 fingers on her other hand, and my manager went back to typing. $300 for that, you're fucking nuts! $200 and we have a deal. She nodded her head and, using her index finger and thumb, started to dig out the man's left eyeball. I clicked on the home button before I saw anything else, but once I closed out the app, I got another notification. It simply said, "Call 911." I ran to the restroom after I dialed 911 and explained to the dispatcher about what my manager was doing on his laptop. I requested that I stay anonymous and hung up the phone. 15 minutes later, my manager was taken out of his office by 2 police officers. He was pleading with them and telling them it was all a misunderstanding, but we could hear the sounds of a man yelling out in pain from our manager's laptop. That was the last notification I received today, but I'll let you know if I receive any more. Right when I woke up this morning, I checked my phone to make sure there weren't any new experiences. When I saw the blank screen, I felt a bit of relief. I didn't get a single notification until I was in the middle of my lunch. I was in my favorite sandwich shop halfway through my roast beef sandwich when I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. With a sigh mixed with anticipation and fear, I checked my phone and saw that I had a new experience. I clicked on the notification and found my character floating around like he always does, but for some reason, his face looked like it was melting off. After a couple of seconds, the character looks back at me as if nothing happened. I felt wary, but I tapped on my character again. The screen shifted to a deep, ominous red before unveiling a family of 3, engrossed in a hearty meal by a campfire outside their house. They relished each morsel of meat pulled from the simmering pot. In the midst of their enjoyment, a man in a white and red shirt adorned with a small cookie logo pulled in the driveway. He casually joined their feast, sharing a few bites. The atmosphere took a macabre turn as the boy, with a mischievous grin, picked up a bloody foot from the ground, kicking it around playfully. He then grabbed a severed hand, parading it around as if greeting someone, while the man and woman erupted in a disturbing laughter. As dawn broke the next morning, the man emerged, burdened with 2 hefty bags. The boy playfully attacked him, only to be pushed to the ground. The man then drove to a cookie store, deposited the bags inside, locked up, and disappeared into the morning haze, leaving an eerie stillness behind. My phone jumps back to the home screen after that, and I put the phone back in my pocket while I tried to make sense of what I just watched. I know that the 2 bags contained the man and the woman. The young boy is now at his house alone, but I don't really feel bad for him after I watched him play with the dismembered body parts. In the middle of my thoughts, my phone started buzzing again. The notification from the app simply said, "Countdown." I opened the app and saw the number 32 fill up the screen. I knew automatically that I had to leave, but I felt a light tap on my shoulder. I looked behind me and saw a familiar face and shirt, a red and white shirt with a cookie on the top right and a smile displaying bright yellow teeth. He leaned over to me and pressed his lips right on my ear as he whispered, "Do I know you from somewhere?" I jerked my body back and tried to rush out, but he grabbed onto my arm and tried to pull me back. With desperation kicking in, I used my other hand to jab the man in his eye. He yelped in pain and his grip softened around my arm. Seizing the opportunity, I kicked him in the knee and managed to leave the store as the timer hit 3 seconds. I walked to the side of the building and peeked around the corner. I already started hearing screams coming from the shop when the timer hit 0. The door opened for the final time and Yellowtooth came out with a butcher's knife in one hand, and with the other he was dragging the man face down. Once he got up to his car, he flipped the man over and started to stuff him in his back seat. I wish I could wipe the image of the man's face from my head, but I know I will never forget it. The skin on his face was gone, and the flesh of his face had been ripped in various places after being dragged on the asphalt. I knew I was still at risk of being seen by the man, so I ran back to my company. I didn't stop running until I got to my desk. I took the phone out from my pants pocket and placed it on the desk. I knew that the app is helping me, but I just wanted the notification to stop. Knowing I was not in condition to work, I sent an email to the assistant manager that I'd have to take the rest of the day off. I was sending my wife a text while I sat on the toilet, but a notification popped up, and I automatically clicked it. This time, the app didn't go to the screen with my floating character. It went automatically to an actual video of my wife and kid sitting on the bathroom floor. It looked like it was taken from outside of my bathroom window. The window started to go white from the person's deep breath, but my wife and kid were oblivious to it all. There was a time at the bottom right of the screen, 13:35 p.m. The camera shifted down, and I saw khaki pants and gray shoes, and the video cut out. The screen went white and came back to a countdown with "Get him now" on the screen. I walked into the office and grabbed a letter opener from my desk. I knew exactly who it was. His name is Brad, and he'd been fucking my wife since the Christmas party last year. When I got up to him, I saw a picture of my wife's Facebook profile picture on his screen, and that was when all of my suspicions were confirmed. I jammed the letter opener in his neck 6 times. Before anyone else could react, I ran out of the door and continued to run the 300 meters to the subway station. I didn't go back home. I knew the police would be looking for me. I've received over 20 calls and 45 texts from my wife, but I'm not going to check them. The only thing I checked was the last notification I received today. Gotcha. It's only been a day, and I miss my wife and child so much. I tried sleeping in the sewers last night, which has resulted in me waking up various times throughout the night to throw up. This morning, when I woke up, I saw that my wife had left me a voicemail. I clicked the notification and pressed the phone up to my ear. Choking through her sobs, she said, "You know, we could have figured this out together. Why did you have to kill yourself, honey? You know, I would always love you. You know, your son, and I would always take your side. Why did you have to be so stupid? Why couldn't you just come home so we could figure everything out?" With a loud sob, she ended her message. I saw my Facebook page had around 40 notifications on it, and when I went onto my profile, I saw various posts from old and new friends, all saying RIP too soon. One person without a profile picture, Olive Johnson, posted a video with the subtitle, "Enjoyed taping that." I clicked on the video and saw a man that looked exactly like me with the barrel of a gun in his mouth. He was standing in front of my company, holding the gun with both of his hands. And when the cops tried to walk up to him to intervene, he closed his eyes and pulled the trigger. I shut off the video and sat in silence while I tried to make sense of what the fuck was going on. In the middle of my thoughts, my phone buzzed twice. I turned the screen on and saw that there were 2 notifications from Life is Beta. I tried tapping on the first one and it just simply said, "Look up." I looked up to see a man standing over the entrance to the sewer. I tapped the second notification and it said, "Catch." I put my arms out and caught the clothes the man tossed down to me. I put on the red shirt, khakis, and the gray dress shoes and climbed out of the sewer. By the time I was out, the man was gone. My phone buzzed again, and I tapped on the notification. "If you want to see your family again one last time, go to your house now." I grabbed the first cab and gave him the address to my house. When we got there, I forgot that I didn't have any money. I checked the jacket pocket and found $20 and a portable battery for my phone. I told the driver to keep the change and ran up to the tree outside of my house. I got another notification that said, "Climb." I climbed up the tree and found a branch that could hold my weight. I sat on it and looked into my bathroom window. I know I should have just savored the last seconds watching my wife and son playing on the bathroom floor, but I have to have something to remember them by. My phone was starting to die, but I opened up the camera app and started to take a video of them. My hot breath against the cold window caused it to start to fog. While I watched them, I started to feel tears fall from my face and my fingers started to shake. My wife and kids still seemed to be somewhat happy spending time together, but I would just give anything in the world to be with them right now. After a couple of seconds, I saw my wife start to look up, and I quickly shut off my phone while putting it in my pocket. I got down from the tree and started to run. I didn't have any clue where I was going, but I just wanted to somehow escape out of the nightmare I had created. I stopped running as soon as I felt my phone buzz. I opened the notification and found the video I just took with the words "look familiar" on the bottom. That moment, I was tempted to throw my phone as far as I could, but I knew that this app was still the only thing keeping me alive. I started to think that maybe I could just go back home. Another buzz and another notification by them. When I opened up the app, I found two buttons on the screen on the left and right side of my character. Kill or be killed. I felt another buzz, but I ignored it. After the third buzz, I started running again and tried to ignore the buzzing. I didn't stop running until I tripped and fell to the ground. My phone buzzed incessantly. On its screen, a chilling video. I was stabbing Brad with a letter opener. The scene shifted to Brad at home, the newspaper's date revealing it was just before the stabbing. A confrontation escalated between him and a woman. A single push and she fell, her neck snapping against a table edge. The footage gruesomely showed Brad forcing her body into a freezer, her bones breaking under the pressure. The video ended, presenting me with two stark choices. To anyone who discovers the Life is Beta app, know this: it's not just a game, but a gateway to harrowing decisions that will alter your life irrevocably. The app offers a choice to kill or be killed under the guise of ridding the world of evil. This is my final message, a warning of the profound impact this app holds.